Today you're going to learn the top 3 mistakes investors make when purchasing property. Here at Blueprint Financial Partners, we very commonly help investors look at and analyze their real estate purchases. This is just a typical one that we've looked at recently. You can see here the property value is about $48,000. Its purchase price about $32,000. Some typical closing costs, $2,000. The land value, $5,000. That's for depreciation basis. You can see the loan amount would be $25,600 at 80% of the purchase price. They've chosen a 3.25% interest rate on a 180-month loan or 15-year fixed. The property taxes are $55 a month. Insurance, $60 a month. Maintenance, $75 a month is an estimate. If they chose to have a management company, it'd be $75 a month. Vacancy, $75 a month. And the gross rental on this is $750 per month. Income tax bracket, capital gains tax bracket are listed here, and depreciation recap bracket is here as well. Now, typically, we're going to look at about 120 months as our analysis time frame. When I enter that, you can see the cash-on-cash return in this scenario is about 26.13%. It's a pretty good return, right? That's why people love to invest in real estate. Now, the top mistake that we see is number 1 here. People do not follow Robert Kiyosaki's rule that you make your money on the buy, not the sell. What do I mean by that? Okay, so let's say, for instance, that this client was able to get, instead of $32,000 as the purchase price, they were able to get it down to $28,000 by just making sure that they negotiated properly. When we do that, we're also going to lower the loan amount to 80%, which is $22,400. And what happens? Wow, the rate of return goes up 4% from 26.13 to 30.52. So obviously Robert Kiyosaki knows what he's talking about. Take your time, make sure you purchase the property at the right price. I'm going to go ahead and put this back at $32,000 and $25,600 for the loan amount. Okay, so the second mistake that we are commonly seeing is that investors do not negotiate the proper terms on other people's money. What do I mean by that? Okay, so for instance, people focus in so much on the interest rate that they don't think twice about how long the term is of the mortgage that they're going to get when purchasing that property. So let's just look at that for a second. If you're looking at a 15-year mortgage at 3.25%, because it's such a low interest rate, that's why people get drawn to it. Also, I can't tell you how many times I've heard investors say, this is part of my retirement, so I want to have it paid off in 15 years. Well, my answer would be, well, let's make sure we're maximizing our rate of return and then buy as many properties as we can. That's going to only increase our cash flow in retirement. So let me show you an example. At 3.25% at 15 years, this is our rate of return. If we were to take this to a 30-year, of course, our interest rate would have to go up. Let's just say today's interest rate for that would be 4%. On a 30-year fixed, that's 360 months, our rate of return goes up to 31.6. It's all about cash-on-cash return, which just means we've lowered our monthly cash flow obligation and increased our cash flow to ourselves. Now, even I've heard that some people are worried about paying hard money lenders at higher interest rates like 8 or 9%. So at 8%, our rate of return is still higher or right at what it would have been on a 15-year mortgage. But how many more properties could we purchase if we just were able to utilize hard money lenders instead of having to go the traditional route? Most banks will only do about 4 properties through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So that just goes to show that if we properly negotiate the terms, we'll be able to increase our portfolio. The third and final mistake that we see very commonly is down payment. How an investor allocates their money towards down payment when purchasing rental properties. So let me show you what I mean. How many times have I heard, well, I just like to pay cash for these properties. I don't want to have a mortgage. Some of these folks that have lots of liquid cash, they want to just put those down. So as I'll back this up again to that original 15-year mortgage just to show you again the difference. So we're starting at 26.13% rate of return with a 20% down payment. Now if we were to pay cash for that and put 100% down, we'd have no loan, and all of a sudden the rate of return drops significantly like a rock to 12.34%. It's all about how much cash we've got in the deal. In this case, it's $34,000, including the cost of the property and the closing costs. So that means we can buy less properties with the same dollar, which ultimately lowers our rate of return on that. Now, subsequently, the opposite would be true. Most people would say, I could only put down 20% because that's what the traditional lenders are allowing us to do. What we commonly teach our investors is how you can easily leverage to create a second loan as the 20% down payment and create a 100% loan to value just by implementing some of the things that we teach. And let's just say you could do it at 5% over the same term of 360 months, which we're going to change this back to 360 months. To maximize our return, we're talking about 110% rate of return. Now you may be thinking this is impossible. How in the world are they doing that? But this is what we're commonly teaching investors every day.